Alright guys, we're back on the shores of the Cutlass Keys. I'm 90s Kid, and we're gonna play around with some boar. We're gonna light them on fire today. That's right, we're gonna burn up some boar. Um, Last video I did, right? We're testing damage perks on the blunderbuss. I come to the conclusion that running a ruby, despite having all this fire gear, wasn't necessarily worth it. And that's unfortunate. You spend a lot of time on this, so I was like, well, is it even worth running for my fire damaging skills? Like, sure, it might not work with Ruby, but does it work with my fire damaging skills? And of course, we have Azoth Blast, which is 45% fire damage, and Splitting Grenade, which is 85% fire damage. Again, I have Ignited runeglass and Fire Harnessing in every piece here. I have a fire damage ring on, and yeah. So, I mean, without talking about it anymore, like let's test these numbers. So I'm just gonna run up. I'm just gonna pop them, and then pop them. And then we'll pop up here. We'll switch gears, and as soon as it allows me to. All right. Let's take a look at our gear here. Yeah. No more fire damage, even on the ring, it's thrust. So, let's go ahead, come over here. Azoth them in the butt, right? And then we'll dodge roll, shoot them there. And then there we go. Alright, it's that easy. That's as simple as it's going to get for this one. I'll go ahead and see you on the cutting room floor. Alright guys, so we're on the cutting room floor. I've got the numbers ran, and that's, again, these numbers are not surprising. It seems to be, right? Let's just get right here at the end of our non-fire splitting grenade. It seems to be, as you can see, these top numbers are the fire damage, bottom non. The original pellet blast from Azoth does not seem to be affected by our fire damage. As you can see here, decent numbers. Now we do have a single crit in here. That's sitting at around 4,700 damage for that initial blast. When the grenade drops and explodes, that's that second, right? So we come over here, and there's no crits, so that's gonna be the 100 damage, right? But our non-fire damage is sitting around 5,300. Again, like, these pellets are reading fire damage, but it's not being affected by our boost in fire damage. It's odd, but it's AGS, so what are we going to do? Not a lot. I'm just trying to bring this stuff to light. I'm trying to know it. I want to understand how to better maximize this build, and I want you to understand it. So it seems to be our blast. As you can see, the fire gear blast is sitting just under 3,000, while the fire gear is about 37, almost 3,800. So that is clearly affected by the 27% damage fire boost. As well as, when we come over here and we start looking at the splitting grenade, which again is a blast type skill, right? Like, that's a fire blast, that's an explosion, much like that grenade that you drop at your feet on Azoth. And it is clearly, again, affected by the fire damage. So the fire damage splitting grenade was 8,700, the non was 6,700. So there's a vast difference of nearly 2,000 damage there. And when you're doing 8,000 damage, almost 9,000 damage, 27, that's in a shoddily math situation, in an AGS math type situation, that's what it is. That's 27%, right? So again, you kind of have to determine, um, is it worth it for you? You know, my fiance doesn't use all this ignited rune glass type stuff. Maybe it's just worth getting fire harnessing and not really focusing on the rune glass. 2k damage isn't a lot. You know, one more basic shot is going to put you over that damage, and that could pretty well be instant. But also, if you're trying to min max your build, then it will be worth it in the end, right? Like if you're just trying to be as maximum as you can, it will be worth it, absolutely. But I don't think it's dire. It's not gonna, there's not gonna be a huge separation of someone with it as someone without it in the long run. You know, over the course of a 2 to 4 minute boss fight, there will be a separation, but I don't think it's gonna be significant to where you're just like, I'm glad I spent that, 60,000 gold, so yeah, I mean, it is good to know. It once again unfortunate that the original Azoth pellet spread is not affected despite it being fire damage. But that's why we're testing these things, right? We're trying to figure out the best way to build this kit, the cheapest way to build this kit. Um, that way everyone has the information. So, with that being said, again, you can go out and hit these boar 3 or 4 different times and probably get different numbers, but this is generally what you're gonna see. We do more damage to beasts, so these are going to be a little bit higher numbers if you went out and like shot a skeleton or something, So also keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean those are the numbers. That's what we're getting. Again, got some good videos coming. I just, last video I did learning that the ruby wasn't affected essentially by our fire damage. It it had been rubbing me a little raw the whole day after, and I just had to get this video out. I had to test it, and again, not surprising. Unfortunate, just not surprising. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'll be sure to catch you on the next one, and hope y'all are doing good. And yeah, 90s kid out. Peace.